Then they'll come over the Bald Eagle Vertical, which signifies the Grand Traverse Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians here in Michigan. That's number 8 coming away. Triple combination includes the white lantern wings, orange, blue, and white striped rails. That'll be 9A, B, and C, an Oxer vertical triple combination. Then the NetJets Oxer is number 10. They'll come away from home one final time over the Cabana Coast Oxer, the Major League Liverpool vertical, and that's 11 and 12. And then the Night Sky fence will be number 13 here today. Competition will be commencing very shortly. Before we kick it off, we'd like to ask all of you to please rise and remove cover for the playing of our national anthem. Of course, host country here in the United States of America. Off at the top of the order, coming down the hillside here in just a moment. Of course, Grand Prix competition includes scoring as follows: 4 faults for knockout, 4 faults for a first refusal, elimination for a second refusal, and exceeding the time allowed. 1 fault for every commenced second over. That time allowed is 75 seconds. This is another competition that plays into the Captive One Open Jumper Rider bonus standings. You can see Margie Engel on top of those standings currently. Kathleen Driscoll second, Santiago Lambre third. Bob Manley is 4th, and then Shane Sweetnam is also tied in that 4th position after a win yesterday. Samuel Perot of Chile holding the 6th position so far. And tomorrow, of course, is when that bonus will be paid out upon completion of the American Gold Cup. The 2-star Grand Prix that's about to commence here. Another event that will play into that bonus. And, of course, thanks to Captive One, a family of companies that assess, form, and manage captive insurance companies. With a captive insurance company that you own, instead of paying premiums to a commercial carrier, you pay premiums to your captive. Any money not utilized or paid in claims can be invested and may become profit in your captive. For a feasibility review, business owners can go to captiveone.com on the World Wide Web. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime. That's going to bring us right to the kickoff here today. Gallagher making his way through the Turtle Creek Casino and Hotel International Ring Arch here, our main venue at the Traverse City Series. Copycat will be our first up. Rider for Ireland, Lorcan Gallagher, will be here for Lost Lake Farm LLC aboard the 9-year-old Bay Westphalian gelding by Comme Il Faut.
Today sees the Major League team competition take place this afternoon, but we're bringing you the 2-star Grand Prix this morning, and we've got a fantastic lineup of horses and riders to come. Quite a tricky course set by the course design team here. Alongside me is Tori Bilas, and we're going to take you through all of this competition. Of course, competition with a jump-off in this 2-star Grand Prix.
We do have quite an impressive roster of riders coming forth, beginning with Lorcan Gallagher. All of them are 5-star caliber competitors, some of them bringing forth perhaps a younger, less seasoned mount. So it is going to be a very tight competition, a lot of impressive up-and-coming talent coming through this class today.
Yeah, 100%. As you say, Lorcan Gallagher, first rider in. He rides Copycat, a 9-year-old horse by Comme Il Faut. And he's getting off to quite a speedy start around this course. It's quite a twisting course. This is fence 3, the Caladay Oxer that he's coming to now, then a related distance down to 4, A and B, across the middle of the arena. He gets 5 strides then to fence 5, the planks, the CP planks there. And then we have another line across the middle of the arena. It just gets a little bit deep to that fence. American Gold Cup Oxer coming out of that line.
It looks like he was kind of thinking about being a fast 4, and then it ended up sort of catching up with him at that stone wall vertical. That is a very impressive horse. Jumped clear National Grand Prix action a few weeks back. But still, just a 9-year-old, still inexperienced at the FEI levels.
Yeah, just seeing again there, just didn't quite get the height over the stone wall fence. But plenty of potential, and I'm sure ones that we'll see coming forward in the future. Well, from an Irish competitor, we turn to one for the USA. This is Hannah Hink, who rides Casper. Casper being an 11-year-old by quality time, out of a Berggraf mare, horse that Hannah owns herself.
Hannah jumped clear with this horse in FEI action, 3-star action during the spring. She had a great outing with both of her horses on that occasion, riding with Team Rakowski, who call Traverse City home all season long. Had some incredible results as a team, from the hunter to a jumper, even equitation rings. Hopefully show us around the full course for the first time. Time allowed 75 seconds here. Unfortunately bringing down that Caladay Oxer.
And I think there are quite a few places in the course where the design team have asked quite a few different questions actually. We've got a triple combination at fence 9 and goes about 4 strides down to an Oxer at 10, which is built quite up to height, and of course at quite a late part in the course we could see that falling potentially, I think. But again, this line across the middle of the arena, 6 and 7, causing a couple of problems already, so she's on the 8 so far.
This course definitely seems built for the occasion. Looks like she didn't quite like the distance into that the triple there. Let's see if she's going to wind up and try that again. She may just end up taking a courtesy fence. It's already proving quite difficult, this track, but I'm sure we will, out of the 45 entries, likely see a couple of clear. We do have some very experienced pairs to come.
So sadly another retiring competitor there, Hannah Hink, the latest of those. So 2 riders gone, and we're still looking for a completion. But as you say, plenty of experienced horses, plenty of experienced riders on the list, and the next of those is certainly one of them is the turn of Kyle King, and he rides Enzo, a horse that has competed up to 5-star level. This one is by Ustinov, is a 13-year-old, and he rides this for the Seabright Investment Consultants.
Kyle had an incredible breakout year last year, rising from somewhere in the 900 ranked riders in the world into breaking the top 100. He just really saw a lot of top results. He won a 5-star class at the Desert Horse Park last fall. And he's coming off a recent win at Spruce Meadows in the 6-bar there. That was aboard Coffee to Go. Just a really great string of horses for him right now.
Has Chess in some of the 5-star competitions as well. We saw him yesterday with Chess, just having a couple of fences down.
Well, this pair certainly has experience on their side. They've been paired together for some time now. Hopefully they can show us the way through the entirety of this course for the first time.
Took a little bit more of a measured approach, I think, from 6 to 7. I think we've seen quite a bit of pace coming off the corner into fence 6 from our first 2 competitors, which perhaps didn't go quite so well for them coming to that upright fence in the corner. Quite a short 4 in there from fences 11 to 12. 13 to finish, so first riders to complete and first clear round. Ah, but a little well, we'll just confirm that actually for you because we have 75 seconds, but yes, 76.05. He's a little over the time allowed, 2 time penalty. So there's 1 time penalty to be added for every second started over the time allowed. So with the 0.05 of a second, that's another time penalty, unfortunately. So it's 2 for Kyle King, clear jumping, and 2 for time.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do let out that time allowed just slightly. I believe they have 3 rounds to make that decision, 3 completed rounds. And I don't think he was really lagging anywhere. He definitely didn't rush through that course, but we'll see what the course designers decide to do here.
Yeah, absolutely. He does definitely, as you say, wasn't hanging around, so interesting to see if that does change, but it's 2 for now for Kyle King. As our next competitor heads over the first fence, it's the turn of Lucie Deslauriers with Diva Karef. This is another 9-year-old, this time a mare, by l'Arc de Triomphe. French-bred horse. Lucie, again, another competitor who's been jumping in the 5-star competitions. And of course, Mario Deslauriers, former winner of the American Gold Cup. That's a competition that we'll be bringing you tomorrow afternoon. It's part of the major Grand Prix here at Traverse City Horse Shows this week.
Lucie here with some younger horses, more up-and-coming horses. Of course, her top mount, Hester, that she's just accomplished so much with. Was originally her USET horse and junior jumper, and has stepped her all the way up to the highest level. They were 2nd place in the Grand Prix of Rotterdam. They also were on the winning Aachen Nations Cup team. But now bringing along some new horses, including this mare.
Again, finds that distance a little bit short. Another place which is quite a serious question from the course design team. So the time there for her is 72.88, so it is quite a bit quicker than Kyle King. So as you say, it'll be interesting to see if that time allowed is adjusted. But 1 fence down gives Lucie Deslauriers 4 in total to round off her performance, and she slots into 2nd place at the moment behind Kyle King. So we're still looking for our first clear round, still looking for a rider to take us into the jump off. And we talked a little bit about some of these very experienced combinations that we've got coming forward here, and again, this is certainly another of those. Hunter Holloway with Dana de Kerglen. Hunter's got quite the list of rides here this week. She was riding Lopez yesterday, Pepita Conspita, her other ride that she's got here, and Dana de Kerglen's one that she's had for a couple of years now.
This is a longer-term partnership. She has had a very impressive couple of months, really a couple of years, kind of a breakout period of time for her right now. She's won so many Grand Prix just in the past 12 months. That, of course, mostly aboard Pepita Conspita, but also bringing this horse along. Jumping at a slightly lower level, but doing so quite well. Of course, just winning a 5-star Grand Prix at Saugerties just last week. Hunter is just so poised the way that she rides around. She doesn't get in the horse's way at all. She's very tall, but uses her body in a very effective way.
She's just outside the top 20 in the under 25 FEI jumping rankings as well, which goes to really show her consistency. And as you say, with the range of horses that she has, it's very impressive to be consistent on a number of different rides.
She's really keeping up the pace around this course. I don't think time allowed will be much of an issue, and she's just won from home.
Big shot to the last, but as you say, it's a fantastic time, 71.02, but crucially all the fences staying up, so it's a fast clear for Hunter Holloway and Dana de Kerglen, first competitor to get us through into the jump off. Have a few withdrawals at this stage for riders not coming forward, but as we were saying earlier, that gives us now 41 left on our start list of 45, and Hunter Holloway the first through to the jump off. So the other riders will now be trying to join her there, heading through into that second round of competition over the shortened course, where speed will absolutely be of the essence. Hunter's Ride there certainly showing the potential speed that she and Dana de Kerguelen have. On then to Alexandra Pilot with Hyperbolics. 10-year-old gelding by Berlin. Berlin really coming through as a top stallion. And Alexandra rides, of course, for the USA. Plenty of American competitors here this week, but also competitors from all over the world. We have British, Argentinian, Venezuelan, Canadian, Irish competitors just in this two-star Grand Prix alone.
Well, Alexandra, a fierce competitor. We saw her very successfully jump at the North American Youth Championships, top finish in that individual qualifier, as well as top finish overall, gold medal on team day. So very successful. That was her second time at the North American Youth Championships to end up with a gold medal. And knows this horse very well. Also brought home 2 top 7 results here in two-star action in August. Shown successfully up to the 3-star level. Another that carries quite a bit of forward momentum. Usually time faults are not a concern for this pair, as we saw in their individual qualifier at those youth championships, a very fast pair.
It was quite interesting actually when she came to fence 8, which is the fence that's right in front of our commentary box. We've seen a lot of people taking quite a hold to that fence, but Alexandra certainly had quite a forward movement there and a very forward approach, and obviously trusts the horse over those upright fences as well. But sadly just the one coming down gives her 4. She's within the time allowed as well, 74.45. So I think at this point we'll see Kyle King's score of 2 time penalties hold.
That Platinum Performance fence seems to be a bit of a bogey so far. I don't know if we can call it that just yet, but I think they are jumping directly into the sun. It could be a little tricky to see. There are a few shadows there. We'll see how much that continues to come down. Just fence 2, so it's always discouraging to have an early rail.
Yeah, it's a long way round when you have one of those early fences, but as you say, it's jumping into the sun. But it's absolutely a beautiful morning here in Traverse City already. We've been here for the sunrise. Sun is now well up. We've got a few shadows across the arena, but it's beautiful conditions for jumping, and we're looking forward to a sunny day for the rest of this action all through the day. Hilary McNerney comes next with Astilbe. She rides on Team Lugano, and she is on the list for the team later this afternoon. Astilbe, quite an experienced horse for her, a 14-year-old now. One that we've seen at the 5-star level.
Hilary's been extremely consistent here in Traverse City. A lot of great results. In fact, jumped clear in the National Grand Prix last week. And with this horse actually coming off a recent 5-star victory at Spruce Meadows, also took 5th place there. And again, riding for the Lugano Diamonds very successfully. They took the win. Was that in Ottawa?
Yeah, last time out in Ottawa, so very good for the Lugano team to have. They had a 6th, a 7th and an 8th place, which had them at the bottom of the leaderboard, but that win has brought them up to 6th place, and I think they're pretty confident this week that they might keep climbing.
There's a lot of talent on that team, both horse and rider.
Absolutely, both experienced competitors. You know, they've got the likes of Kent Farrington and Erin Ballard on their team, and also some younger talent, Natalie Dean, Vanessa Hood on the team as well. And they've got a couple of riders who are new to the competition, who are taking on that challenge later on today. Hilary competed in Vancouver for the team with this horse, actually. She'll be on the team alongside Vanessa and Carly as well. Well, we were saying we have quite the international field here this morning, and we now have a competitor for Great Britain. It's the turn of Grace Debney. She rides Agadance Vantegelut Z.
Well, and just discussing young talent, this is absolutely no exception to that. An incredible young rider here. I don't even know if she's reached her 18th birthday yet, but just so competitive in the jumper ranks, all the way up to the 5-star level. She's taken 5-star victories. She actually won a welcome stake here just back during July or August, I believe. That was during the Great Lakes Equestrian Festival. She also tied for the win at Old Salem this season with McLean Ward. So she is always a top contender, unfortunately bringing down that American Gold Cup Oxer. This a newer partnership for her. She has her top horses that she competes at the higher levels of international competition, but also competes in the high junior amateur jumpers. But I know there are some riders breathing a sigh of relief that she won't be in the jump off because she can be so fast.
Yeah, and this horse is quite built for speed, isn't it? You know, quite a powerful horse, and she's making the turns very easily around this course. She's a bit over the time allowed though as well. Stops the clock. We're just in 80.27 seconds, so it'll give her a little bit for time as well. It's going to be a total of 10 for Grace Debney. She'll slot into 6th place at the moment. She won't be joining those in the jump off. Of course, we just still have one rider in the jump off at the moment. We're looking for our second clear, that first clear round going to Hunter Holloway with Dana de Kerglen. Very experienced pair, and they are the only ones through to the second round as it stands. Carl King sitting in 2nd place at the moment with just the 2 time penalties, and the fastest 4-faulter for now is Lucy Deslauriers. But we have quite a way to go in this competition. With a Canadian competitor coming up next, it's the turn of Jonathan Miller with Isotropic Shadow. This horse is by Quintenda and is owned by the Isotropic Networks.
This is another newer partnership, but already a winning one. They took 3rd place in the National Grand Prix just last week. That was a very competitive field, but also coming off a win together in a 2-star Grand Prix at the Kentucky Horse Park in June. The week prior to that, they were 3rd in the Welcome and 3rd in the Grand Prix. It was just very early into their international career together. A very small horse for Jonathan, and he's a very tall rider. Unfortunately, bringing down that stone wall vertical yet again.
Yeah, a couple of points around the course that have been really causing problems so far, and certainly that stone wall fence coming off the corner has caused quite a few problems so far. Triple combination's been jumping quite well, and down to this NetJets Oxer as well. They're just taking quite a forward approach down that line, but of course that then can cause them some problems, and we've seen fence 12 here come down a few times, the distance from 11 to 12 being quite short, as we were saying earlier. Again, the time's good. It's 73.16. That is the time for Jonathan Miller. But one fence down is going to put him into 4th place for now. He's just a fraction behind the time of Lucy Deslauriers, who still is our fastest 4-faulter. She sits in 3rd, and Jonathan, as I say, takes that 4th place spot. The arena's been absolutely beautifully prepared for this competition, as it has been for the duration of the week so far.
Now, there's been a lot of jumping out in this Turtle Creek Casino and Hotel International ring throughout the season, but it still looks in perfect condition. Riders all season have been talking about how nicely their horses jump on it. And to be able to bring your horses here for an entire season and to continue to jump at the highest level, it's just really a testament to a strong team, good footing here in Traverse City.
Absolutely, really popular venue, and only becoming more popular with these 5-star level competitions coming as well. Connor Swales up next with Fasole de Seigneur. It's a ride from Alexis Sokolov, a horse that she's competed as well, but Connor's been competing this horse in a good few competitions recently. It's owned by Hot Horses LLC, and this is an 11-year-old.
And unfortunately bringing that plank down. I believe that's the first we've seen to have that, coming off a podium placing in the 2-phase earlier this week. Very fast horse, and of course we know very fast rider. No secret there. But with Alexis, this horse has been very fast. Connor just taking over the ride at this point.
Connor, as you say, extremely fast rider, and he's 4th in the Longines World Rankings at the moment. Comes from fantastic performances at the Dublin Horse Show as well.
It's an incredible finish there where he was the jump-off rider to secure the win for Team Ireland on home soil.
Yeah, arguably one of the most prestigious competitions for an Irish rider at that Dublin Horse Show. Such an honour to be competing there and to seal that win for the team. 2 fences down then, unfortunately though, for Connor with Vasole de Seigneur. Gives them 8 and a time of 74.18. He's going to have them in 7th place at the moment. So 2 fences down, and we are still looking for the second clear. Have another team rider coming now. You can see those. The little team graphics next to the riders' names indicate the major league teams that they ride for. So Connor Swale rides for Team Eye Candy. But our next rider is for the Show Plus Northern Lights team. It's Vanessa Mannix. This morning she rides Carmela Z. Show Plus Northern Lights having a couple of tricky performances in the team competition, but again are ones who could really do with a very good result here today in this afternoon's competition. Carmela, again, a pretty new ride for Vanessa. This is one that was previously ridden by Jenny Rankin of Ireland and jumped very well with her, but Vanessa was saying that she's really excited about this horse. This is just their 2nd international show together, I believe.
I'm going quite well already. You can see that Connor Swale staying in the rings. Vanessa is his student. Has been training with him for a very long time. And just very successful. Of course, her top horse, Katinka, here as well. Be interesting to see what the time turns out to be, because Connor was very close, just came in right under, and he seemed to be carrying quite a bit of pace around this course. She might just run a little close, but is going to bring that Cabana Coast Oxer down, unfortunately.
Yeah, a little over the time allowed. 76.39 the time, so she'll get 2 time penalties for being over that 75 seconds. And with the 1 fence down as well, it gives her 6 in total. Puts her into 7th place at the moment. No jump off for her. And we do have quite a few 4-faulting rounds, and I'm sure we'll see a few more to come. So may well see Vanessa Mannix a little bit down the rankings, but certainly quite an encouraging performance for the future. Just 1 down and a little over the time allowed.
Definitely a lot to work from there, a lot to feel good about, but for a newer partnership, you don't want it to be completely perfect every time out of the gate, because then there's not a ton you can go home and work on.
Go back to an American competitor now. It's the turn of Jacob Pope with Highway FBH, owned by the Highway Group. This is a really well-bred horse. It's by Plot Blue, out of a Kornet Obolensky mare.
Well, they're coming off their first international Grand Prix win together. They won the 3-star Grand Prix just last Sunday here in Traverse City. Incredible performance put forth by both horse and rider. And this partnership has just come together so well. They won a national Grand Prix earlier this season. Jacob just got the ride this summer on this horse and has been tremendously careful. They have yet to knock a rail in international competition, which I say reluctantly. I really hope I don't jinx them, because they've just been performing so well. I mean, this horse's breeding is incredible, so it definitely points to this horse being super talented. But you see it in the ring and you're just blown away. Jumping ability is just, I mean, remarkable.
Lovely athletic little horse as well, isn't it?
And Jacob probably feeling very confident with this horse. He says this horse really makes him feel like a winner, which rightfully so. Has won 2 Grand Prix just this summer with this horse, and on his way to potentially winning another.
Yeah, what a brilliant performance. As you say, it's really a pair that strike you as you're looking around the field. in this competition. And they give us our second clear. Jacob Pope, Highway FBH, joined Hunter Holloway and Dana de Kerglen in our jump off. Jacob's time 73.37, so he's a fraction slower than Hunter Holloway, but that is not going to be important in the end because it's all about the time in the jump off, of course. 2 riders now through, so we in fact do have a jump off.
Well, I think both of them are going to be extremely competitive in that jump off. I'm not sure I could pick between the two that are currently going head to head in that jump off, and I do think we're going to have some other pairs join them. Quite a few still to come in this starting order.
Yeah, fantastic list and plenty of fast combinations still to come. We have another 5-star rider coming now. This is Roberto Taran Tafur with BP Wakita, one that he rides for the Trefoil Farms. 9-year-old, so a relatively young horse. This is out of a cruising mare. Quite interesting breeding. And it's an Irish sports horse.
They're coming off a 3rd place finish in that speed class yesterday. There were quite a few entries in that, I believe over 50. McLean Ward and Katoki taking the win there. But this horse, newer ride for Roberto, unfortunately another to bring an American Gold Cup Oxer down. But riding for Clee Hellerman. She brought this horse up herself, showing in Europe and young horse divisions, and then importing to the west coast of the United States. But top 10 results in 3-star action in Wellington with Clee, as well as 2nd in 3-star action at Spruce Meadows last year. So very competitive horse on the international scene. Flies the last in 7, thinking about being a fast 4, which he definitely is, 70.17.
Yeah, got to be one of our fastest times so far. In fact, it is our fastest time so far. He will be the fastest 4 faulter, which could be really valuable. These competitors are so experienced and fully aware that a fast 4 could still see them in with a chance of some prize money. And Roberto Taran absolutely up there, the fastest of the 4 faulters. He goes into 4th place at the moment. Starts just behind Kyle King. And just ahead of Lucie Delauriere, who's in 5th now. TJ O'Mara comes next with Fortaleza, owned by Blue Water Farm. This is a Dutch-bred horse by Sydney. A 12-year-old, not one of the younger horses in the field. TJ O'Mara also riding, of course, to the 5-star level as well. Very experienced competitor too.
Yeah, TJ, a trainer at Stonehenge Stables up in New Jersey. Under head trainer there, Max Amaya. Incredible team behind Stonehenge Stables. A lot of really strong riders, a couple of which are making their 5-star debuts this week. And TJ, a Grand Prix winner himself, won a 2-star Grand Prix in Lexington just this summer. That was aboard the horse Casodium, who he's showing in the 5-star. Giving a great ride through this 1st round course already. TJ was an incredible equitation rider growing up. Unfortunately, the NetJets ox are going to fall. Just comes down a little early on that back rail. But another very tall rider who just really uses himself quite well, stays very well out of the horse's way, just lets them jump quite nicely.
Very much used his body well in that short distance down to the penultimate fence as well to keep that up. Plenty to like about the round, but unfortunately just a fraction over the time allowed as well. It's going to be 1 fence down and 1 time penalty. Gives him a total of 5 to put him into 9th place. But as you say, chose to the 5-star level as well, so we may well see him in tomorrow's competition. A competitor now bringing forward another young horse. This one is just an 8-year-old. A fantastic opportunity in this 2-star Grand Prix to also see some potential stars of the future. It's the turn of Shane Sweetnam with Irandol Duflot, owned, as you may expect, by the Sweet Oak Farm. As I say, just an 8-year-old. This one is by Vivaldi du Seigneur out of an Argana Citermare, Belgian bred horse. Shane, again, extremely experienced competitor. and he's got a couple of his very top rides here this week, including James Can Cruz, the horse with whom he's had so much success recently and with whom he won our jump off 5-star class yesterday.
Yeah, McLean Ward actually said that that horse, James Can Cruz, is probably the most exciting horse in the world right now, so I'm sure Shane is feeling very confident with the ride on that horse, especially coming off their first major win together. Of course, they were on that winning team for Ireland in the Nations Cup at Dublin, so that probably felt pretty good for them, but this being their first individual 5-star victory. And this horse bringing up through the levels, still relatively inexperienced at the higher levels of FEI competition, but showed here earlier this season. It's been showing in national competition as well. But very impressive in the young horse divisions. Quite a few wins on this horse's resume already. And of course, under the guidance of Shane Sweetnam, going to develop into, I'm sure, an incredible show jumper.
Such a talented developer of the young horses. I mean, James Can Cruz is still only a 9-year-old, and quite incredible to have so much success at a relatively young age as well, but he's well within the time allowed, and as we may expect from a man who is so on form, he's also sailing through into our jump off. A win already yesterday. Can he make it 2 days in a row? That's the question, but there's 3 riders now into the jump off. Shane Sweetnam and Irandol Duflot join Hunter Holloway with Dana de Kerglen and Jacob Pope with Highway FBH. 3 riders now through to the jump off.
On Shane, well on his way up those Captive One advisors leading jumper rider standings. That $30,000 bonus to be awarded this Sunday. RG Engel currently sits atop that leaderboard, but Shane is making his way up there. I'm not sure that even if he wins the rest of the classes here that he could catch her, but I'm sure he's going to try.
Yeah, I'm sure he will, and certainly a good result yesterday will stand him in good stead for that. We go to another American rider now. Samantha Schaefer rides Frazier. This is another Dutch bred horse, this time by Carambol.
She's been very successful with this horse. They were double clear in 4th in a welcome stake during the Great Lakes Equestrian Festival. Also coming off a top 5 finish in the Upperville Grand Prix. So competitive up to the higher levels. They were winners of a 2-star welcome here last year, also 2nd in a national Grand Prix. And Sam herself, very impressive hunter rider as well, won the $50,000 performance horse final just last night. Of course, those Traverse City Hunter and Derby finals taking place simultaneously over in the main hunter ring. Excellent display of top hunter horses, as well as some incredible prize money to be had.
Yeah, fantastic selection of competitions taking place this week at Traverse City at this Great Lakes Equestrian Festival venue. As you say, plenty of hunter classes as well as the 2- and 5-star jumping action. And what a performance! We have waited a little bit for another clear, but now we have 2 back-to-back. Samantha Schaefer sails into the jump-off with Frazier, the 4th competitor to do so. So now we have a 4-way jump-off with 14 riders having competed. The 21 on your screen includes a few withdrawals there and a couple of retirees as well. So it's 16 including the 2 horses who have retired, but 4 through to the jump off. So we're looking at around about a 25% rate of going into the jump off, 25% clear round rate in this competition so far, but we will see if that holds. This next competitor is always extremely competitive, always has an eye both on the clock and on getting through, of course, to the jump off and jumping those clear rounds. It's Sam Walker for Canada. He's a rider on the Show Plus Northern Lights squad as well, and jumped for them in Ottawa. The horse he rides here is Joachim de Kerglen. This one is just an 8-year-old. Sam, an extremely talented and hard-working young rider with a range of talented horses in his string. Evita, of course, the horse that he brought to this very venue for the North American Youth Championships, but he jumped so successfully up to the 5-star level as well, and now brings this 8-year-old, a little bit of a younger horse, for this 2-star Grand Prix.
Sam's also had a couple of breakout years on the show jumping scene. was one of just 4 to jump clear in the Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix just back in August here in Traverse City. So top 4 placing there for him. Very impressive. Of course, some of the world's top combinations jumping in that class.
Yeah, he's had 2 top 10 placings in the 5-star Grand Prix at Major League shows already this year, those both being with his horse Hermelian, Van der Hooghoven. Lots of good horses in his string.
One really a staple rider for the Show Plus Northern Lights. They're very lucky to have him on their team.
Very Canadian flavour to the team as well. He's a little bit over the time allowed again, but just the 1 fence down, he'll get 4 for jumping and 2 for time. So it gives Sam Walker a total of 6. He slots into 13th place at the moment. He's the 2nd competitor to finish on 6. He's just a little bit slower than Vanessa Mannix, who in fact is his teammate on the Show Plus Northern Lights. So 2 riders on the 6 and still 4 through to the jump off. Well, we have a couple of competitors just jumping out of order here as well. But we turn now to Kent Farrington, another rider who is on the squad for Team Lugano that we were speaking about earlier. Of course, Kent, extremely experienced competitor too, and he's got some fantastic horses in his string. He was the winner of the 5-star Grand Prix at the Ottawa leg of Major League Show Jumping with that fantastic mare Orofina. He says it's a bit of a development year for some of his horses, but still doesn't mean he doesn't want to win the classes as well. This one is Tulina, another 8-year-old, won by Toulon, as the name suggests, out of a Parco mare. This one is a Belgian-bred horse. And another of these quite small athletic types that he seems to like at the moment.
He definitely seems to prefer that style, and for Kent Farrington, a development year still includes quite a bit of winning. I think most riders would love for their development years to look a little bit like this. He has won on so many different horses recently, including 8-year-olds. This one has yet to take a win with Kent in the irons, but certainly well on its way. Incredible jumping out there. Horse that came from Team Philipparts, ridden by both Thibaut and Nicolas, the young horse divisions. Kent Farrington purchasing the horse.
He had a fantastic show in Toronto a few weeks ago at the Major League Show as well, with several wins there across the levels.
Won a win earlier this week as well aboard a Chateau in that 2 phase. Could be on his way to another. He is very close to the time.
What a shame. He's a little bit over the time allowed, 0.67 of a second, but it will give him 1 time penalty. He's going to slot into 5th place, but fantastic jumping round. Just a fraction over the time allowed, but didn't seem to be wasting any time. But again, what a talent for the future. Just an 8-year-old horse. So Kent Farrington takes 5th spot at the moment with Tulina.
That is definitely a horse to watch for in the future. That was an incredible display of jumping. And Kent definitely giving it the ride it needed. So who knows, if he did go a fraction faster, maybe it would have had a rail somewhere. So playing it safe out there today. And certainly one to watch in that American Gold Cup coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic lineup for the American Gold Cup. That will be at 2 p.m. local time in this Turtle Creek Casino and Hotel International Ring. And we'll be bringing you all of the action from that competition live, as we are with the 5-star Major League Team competition later this afternoon. That will be at 5 p.m. local time. Well, coming down on fence 3, the Calladay Oxer, and sadly just having a little bit of a tricky time so far, is Taylor Harris with Cassilia. Just got a little bit unsettled, I think, with the tricky jump at the Calladay Oxer. Came down over the back rail and now just having a little bit of a problem into the double at fence 4. And we can see that happening quite often, you know, have a little bit of a mistake at one fence, then just unsettle them for the coming fences.
Yeah, all these courses, each element is really connected to another. Looks like confidence has been a little shaken for this pair. Trying to take a courtesy fence there. But maybe they can go back out in the warm-up, try and build up that confidence again. Unfortunate to see that happen.
Yeah, you could just see I think they just stood off fence 13 a little bit, made the fence a little bit wide for them. They just struggled to get the distance, but as you say, the confidence has been a bit shaken now. We tried the platinum equestrian upright at fence 2 again, which they of course have already jumped, but just then having a little bit of an issue there. But I'm sure they'll be back for another day. So we close out the first half of the competition here with 4 clear rounds. Just taking a look across the course, I think we're going to have a short drag break just for this footing to be maintained in the absolute best possible way, as we've come to expect from this arena and this venue. But we've got some fantastic horses and riders still to come. We'll be kicking off with the second half of this competition with Santiago Lambre, Nicky Gallagher still to come, Paul O'Shea, Callie Schott, McLean Ward, Mark Blumen, Georgina Bloomberg, all still to come on the list. Well, welcome back everybody to the second half of this two-star Grand Prix competition. We have a fantastic lineup of horses and riders still to come, and we have 4 combinations now through to the jump-off. They are Hunter Holloway with Dana de Kerguelen, Jacob Pope with Highway FBH, Shane Sweetnam with Irandol Duflot, and Samantha Schaefer with Fraser. They are your 4 into the jump-off so far. We have Kent Farrington on just 1 time penalty with that fantastic young horse Tulina. Kyle King with Enzo has just 2 time penalties to take 6th spot at the moment. Santiago Lambre comes next, representing Brazil. Santiago rides Sertano van Aspergem Z. This is one that he rides for the Tal Milstein stables. It is by Clinton, a 13-year-old, so it's one of the slightly older horses in the field. But I only say that because we have quite a few 8 and 9-year-old horses. But Tori, we've seen some really talented combinations so far, and some talented young horses and young riders.
It really has been an incredible display. Unfortunately, they're bringing down that CP vertical yet again. But Santiago coming off such a great week. He won so many classes during the early part of this Tournament of Champions. Of course, 2 weeks prior to this. I think he is going to call it a day here with Centano. I believe this is his only horse here that he has yet to win on. He took 5 major Grand Prix level victories on 5 different horses over the past 2 weeks, so an incredible display of show jumping there. Found himself a spot in the 3rd position on that Captive One Advisors leaderboard, but not going to be his victory here with Santana.
Yeah, not going to be his day today. We still stay with the 4 through to the jump-off, and we're around about halfway through this competition. We've got a fair few more to bring you, 45 on our start list this morning, a few withdrawals, but not far short of that number of 45. Well, a key rider for Team Eye Candy comes next. This is Paul O'Shea, who has some fantastic rides. As I say, he's been a real stalwart of the Eye Candy team in the past couple of seasons. He rides the horse Sexy Beast. This is one he rides for the Eye Candy Jumpers. Sexy Beast is a 9-year-old mare.
Ron Paul winning that leading Grand Prix Rider Award for the first season of Major League Show Jumping, awarded the final stop on the tour at Desert International Horse Park. So not only a staple for Team Eye Candy, but did incredibly throughout the season as an individual. Quite a few Major League Show Jumping classes that qualify towards that year-end bonus award.
Yeah, as you say, he was the overall winner last season, and he's in the top 10 still this year so far as well. Just a nice addition, I think, to the end of the season, as you say. He jumped this horse in the 2-star Grand Prix at Ottawa at our previous leg. Just had a couple of fences down there. But it's very much one that he's been going better and better with. He's had this horse since 2021 and jumped it all the way up to the 5-star level. It's a horse that came from Patrick Stormare of Germany.
Rode this horse into the top ribbons yesterday in that speed class. Looks like time should be okay. Oh, that is a heartbreaker. Last rail goes for Paul O'Shea. So not going to make it into the jump off here today, but that is a fast 4.
Yeah, very quick. And what a shame, though, just that final fence coming down. As you say, it is a little bit heartbreaking to see because it was such a lovely round, but just clipping the front rail of the final fence gives him a total of 4. He was fast in 71.31, not quite as quick as Roberto Taran, so Paul O'Shea slots into 8th place at the moment with just that 1 fence down. The next rider on our list is Charlize Casas, who will be riding Stena. Again, another competitor for the USA. And another relatively young horse. This one is a 9-year-old, and again a very well-bred horse by Staccato out of a Caratino mare. Have a couple of very impressively bred horses in the field, which of course doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be talented in competition, but it certainly helps. We do see a few of those top stallions really stamping their offspring. We've certainly seen a couple of those so far this week already. But Charlize Casas next up with Stenna.
Already some top finishes in FEI competition for this pair. They were winners in 2-star Spruce Meadows action. Jump off class on that occasion. Also third in a U25 Grand Prix at the Kentucky Horse Park. And they jumped clear with just a time fault in the Longines Global Champions Tour of Miami Grand Prix. It's a 2-star Grand Prix for them. It's a really competitive pair. Trains with Kent Farrington, so you know she's got that winning edge. Definitely always wants to go in, jump clear, so she can give a shot at that jump off. And has had a good season here in Traverse City. Several top horses for her. Unfortunately, brings down that Eagle Vertical.
That Eagle Vertical has been quite tricky, I think, around this course. We've seen a couple of different approaches there. Some riders really holding to the fence, really trying to get the very deep shot. We've seen a couple of people going for quite the forward line. It all depends on what is best for their horses. This also quite tricky to get the distance, that short distance to the upright at the penultimate fence. Again, it's a very good time for Charlize Casas, 70.78, but she just clips the one pole. That Eagle upright, so it gives her 4 and 70.78 the time. She's going to be our second fastest 4 faulter, so she now takes the 8th slot and just drops Paul O'Shea into 9th. Still only 4 riders through to our jump off. So it goes to show you just quite how tricky this course is. Lots of questions asked all the way around, whether it's needing to have these horses and riders adaptable down the distances or to have the accuracy. The line from 6 to 7 causing quite a few problems. That stone wall upright to the American Gold Cup Oxer, but good few problems all the way around the course. Well, the next rider to tackle this is Giovanna Rinaldi. She rides Onami van het Veenshoff, owned by Andrew Wells. And this is an 8-year-old mare by Thunder van der Zoeterve, out of a Nabab Derev mare.
Giovanna's been very competitive with this horse this summer. She's been riding as a part of Team Wells with Andrew Wells. And she herself, a very impressive young rider, quite a few mounts at the top level. She actually won her first 5-star Grand Prix just this past summer at Spruce Meadows. Also represented Team USA in the BMO Nations Cup just last week. She took this horse in the 2-star Grand Prix here at the start of August, at the start of the last month, for a really good second place finish, a double clear, but there falls foul of the short distance down that final line. So unfortunately the penultimate fence comes down. Time's good, 72.96, but one fence down. It will see Giovanna Rinaldi go into 11th place at the moment. We actually have 8 competitors finishing on 4 faults for now. Carl King on 2 time penalties, Kent Farrington on the 1 time penalty, and still just 4 through to the jump off. Well, from a recent 5-star Grand Prix winner to another recent 5-star Grand Prix winner, we've got Callie Schott coming up next, riding Fairfield. She's had a really fantastic run recently, and she was the winner of the Major League Show Jumping 5-star Grand Prix here at Traverse City at our first visit here of the season for Major League at the start of August. Just a competition with 4 into the jump off there, and she was the fastest there. Of course, she rode Garant, who's her top 5-star horse. She's got a number of good rides. She also competed in the 5-star competitions yesterday. She's on the Crusaders team in the Major League team competition, so we'll wait to see if we see her in that later on this afternoon. But Fairfield, her ride here, a 12-year-old by VDL Zirocco Blue. Very new ride for her. She debuted this horse in FEI competition last week. That was in 3-star action, had a couple of very strong rounds. Unfortunately, an early rail at 4A for them here this week. But got the ride from Catherine Strauss, who also trains under BZ Madden, as does Callie. And Callie just has had an incredible year, has already jumped clear in 5-star Grand Prix action, including a win here in Traverse City with Garant. With one of her other mounts, Ironics, she was the 8-year-old champion in the Young Jumper Championships just last week. Marked on how much she loves bringing up young horses. This actually is kind of the first time in her career that she's been given horses that are previously so experienced. She's used to bringing them up herself and now getting the rides on some really top horses.
Yeah, lovely to have that mix. Garant is another of those horses, former rider of BZ Madden, and as you say, really fantastic for her to have those slightly more experienced horses to be able to take around these competitions. Just that one quite early fence down, as you say, so it's 4 in total, and the time was 71.5. It's going to have Callie Schott in 10th place. Not quite sure if she'll hold on to a top 10 slot. As I say, we do still have quite a few riders yet to come, and we still might see more clears and some more fast 4 falters. So 10th spot for her with just the 1 fence down. We're starting to see a few more spectators turning up for this morning's competition on the hill at the side of the arena. I'm sure it will be absolutely packed out for our team competition later on today, but we've seen some good numbers of spectators here already this week. And certainly in our previous Major League leg here, we saw it absolutely packed to the rafters with spectators all keen to see the 2- and 5-star jumping action.
It's just such a beautiful day here in northern Michigan. It's really been a beautiful summer. We had perfect weather for that last team competition, and it's going to be a repeat of that today. So we'll see if it'll be a repeat win for Helios or if another team is going to slide in there and take the victory today.
Yeah, things are getting a little bit shaken up. Team Helios were running away with it at the start of the season, but a tricky performance in Ottawa still has them at the top of the leaderboard, but the points gap is absolutely closing. It's getting tighter and tighter. Caitlin Connors then comes next, riding again, of course, for the USA. She rides Falcon de Hus Z. She's the next rider who will be trying to get into the ranks of those jump-off competitors.
Caitlin, a top young athlete, trains under Roberto Turan. Has been a staple on the U25 circuit.
Yeah, and doing well in the under-25 international competitions. She's just inside the top 100 in the under-25 FEI jumping world rankings.
Represented Zone 2 at the North American Youth Championships. Very successful outing there for her. And it's great to see how some of those young up-and-coming rider programs can develop athletes into this level and beyond even. Caitlin herself has shown at a higher level. Really is a great indication of the future of our sport.
Well, again, takes the penultimate fence down. And again, that's quite tricky to see because they had a really lovely round, and as you say, really great to see this young rider coming up and jumping in these international level competitions. Lovely round, but unfortunately the short distance to the penultimate fence just making that line a little bit tricky for them again. It's going to be 1 fence down, quite quick time, 71.53. She'll slot into 11th place as it stands, but remains outside the jump off. Well, I know, Tori, that this was a combination that you were quite looking forward to seeing. McLean Ward and Kotoki come next. Experienced combination, experienced horse and rider.
Well, already a winner here this week. McLean, of course, chasing what could be his first American Gold Cup win if he's able to pull it off. It's kind of the one milestone he has yet to accomplish. His father has won it. But this week taking a win in speed action with this horse, which is what this horse does best. If you look down this horse's FEI record, there or more first places than any other number. So many wins in speed action, just such a speed demon, and McLean gives this horse such an excellent ride. And I don't know that this horse even has to try to go fast. He's just so naturally quick. And has won Grand Prix as well, but really thrives in those speed classes. But if this horse makes it to the jump off, I think there's going to be a lot of sweating with those other riders.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just see the way he comes around some of these turns. He's, as you say, just so quick. And I think actually the speed just didn't quite do them any favours through the triple combination. Real shame, but I think getting a fraction close to the A element then makes things tricky through that distance. Be interesting to see how they deal with this.
Give a real balance there coming to that Cabana Coast Oxer. Looks like the rideability was just slightly getting away.
Doesn't look like the easiest of horses to ride, but as you say, the speed is just so impressive. And certainly would have been a fantastic one to see in the jump off, but the triple combinations jumped well so far. Unfortunately, not quite the place for McLean Ward today. So a couple of fences down, and to drop quite out of the running, and still just the 4 competitors through to the jump off. McLean Ward, though, as you say, definitely has an eye on that American Gold Cup, and that's what we'll be bringing you tomorrow. Quite incredible to think he's never won it.
It is very surprising, and we actually asked quite a few riders some trivia questions that will be premiering that video later on, and quite a few of them guessed that McLean was the one who had won it the most. So,
wow,
not a lot of people know that he has never etched his name on the American Gold Cup.
That trivia video, definitely one to watch out for on social media. You can follow along on the Major League channels, on the American Gold Cup channels, and of course on Traverse City Horse Shows. And for the Major League show jumping, you can also follow along using the hashtag #ThisIsMajorLeague. Well, an early fault for our next competitor. Mark Blumen rides Miss Cello, 9-year-old horse, and Mark, as you can see from the icon next to his name, is a rider from Team Helios. He's ridden for Team Helios twice already this season, once being here at Traverse City, helping the team to a win here.
Put in an incredible performance for that win for Team Helios. Of course, all 3 riders on that occasion jumping so well. And really all season, their team has just been stellar.
Yeah, I think when they won here at Traverse City, they dropped 1 pole across all 3 rounds out of all 3 riders, which is pretty incredible. So 1 pole dropped after over 6 rounds of competition between the 3 of them. But it's 1 fence down now for Mark Blumen with Miss Cello. He's inside the time allowed, but he'll slot into 15th place with the 1 fence down. But plenty to encourage him, I'm sure, with this relatively young horse for the future. Another rider who is excellent against the clock is Samuel Parot. He rides for Chile. His ride here this morning is Buga Z. 12-year-old by Chester Z out of a Quality Touch mare.
Well, another rider that's gotten himself high up those Captive One Advisors leading jumper rider standings. He's had a lot of incredible performances on a wide array of horses as well. He's brought quite a few top mounts here to Traverse City, quite a few podium finishes, including 1 win in speed action. And this horse has taken some pretty consistent results. It's very quick against the clock, stays very careful. Last few outings haven't gone according to plan, so I think he's trying to rebuild the confidence, try to put in those clear rounds.
Yeah, they had a good clear for a 3rd in a speed class here a couple of weeks ago, but as you say, a couple of fences down in some other rounds. Really getting the partnership going again. Quite a long-term partnership for Samuel.
Jumped double clear with Crystal Blue yesterday in that qualifier, 5-star qualifier for the American Gold Cup. And it's back to clear round action for Buga Z.
Yeah, he had a bit of an eye on the clock as well, really raced for the final line just to be sure that he wouldn't have any time penalties to add. He's obviously seen a couple of competitors do that, but nothing to add at all. 72.82. We'll see Samuel Parot be our 5th competitor to go through to the jump-off. Lovely, lovely clear round there. He joins Hunter Holloway, Jacob Pope, Shane Sweetnam, Samantha Schaefer. Now Samuel Parot is the 5th through to our jump-off. Another rider who again can be extremely quick against the clock is Jordan Coyle. He's our next rider in. Rides for Ireland and also rides on the Spyco Spies team. He's been a fantastic stalwart for the team over the season so far. Helped them to... They've had 3 second-place finishes. 1 trickier time. Jordan wasn't on the team actually when they had their trickier performance in Toronto. But 3 second-place finishes has them 2nd in the overall season standings. And they are absolutely knocking on the door for a win as a team. This horse is Lysaniska Cool Quality. Jordan has a number of horses right up at the top level. Of course, the one that he won our 5-star Grand Prix in Vancouver with Ariso. But Picador, his other top ride. Has a good rattle of fence 3, but it's staying up so far.
Jordan already a 2-time winner of Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix action. Said in his win after the Desert Horse Park Grand Prix, he never thought he would win a 5-star Grand Prix, and here he has 2 just less than a year later.
Yeah, relatively quickly.
In quick succession, he actually won 2 in a row. He won the last of the 2021 season and the first of the 2022 season, but has yet to get himself back up in that winner's circle since then.
Yeah, he's had some tricky performances actually. Had a couple of refusals in the team competitions, which was a shame because the potential and the talent is absolutely there. But I guess that's the nature of the sport.
Exactly. There's the nature of that team competition, adding pressure to perform for your team.
And as we say, plenty of talent there for Lysaniska Cool Quality, and Jordan Coyle gives us our 6th clear round. Brilliantly done. And we know they're quick. We know Jordan is a quick rider. Lysaniska Cool Quality, a new horse to international competition, not one with an FEI record yet, but certainly one that I'm sure will be populated quite quickly with Jordan.
And this is sure to be a good result to put on that horse's record.
Well, another very talented rider, very talented team rider for the Major League teams is Ashley Bond. She rides Imagine here this morning. Comes fresh from the World Championships. Of course, Ashley competing in those championships with her top horses. She's got a number of her top rides here this week as well. Donatello, one that we saw yesterday. Caroline of Ballamore as well, another of her 5-star rides that she has here this week. Imagine is a 9-year-old by Emerald out of a Heartbreaker mare. Another extremely impressively bred horse. And Ashley is the rider who spearheads Team Helios. And in fact, I believe when they won at Traverse City, Ashley was at the World Championships, but was still watching remotely to make sure that her team did as well as possible to support her team riders. Looks like she might be back on the team this week.
And I'm sure they're grateful to have her here riding for them. She's so consistent, jumped double clear last night with Caroline of Ballamore in that qualifier. This horse coming off a win in Spruce Meadows in 2021, about this time last year. That was its last FEI outing. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a clear round as the 3rd rail falls for this pair.
Yeah, it's a shame. Again, they had quite a pace up, and I think down some of those shorter distances, that just makes things a little bit too tricky for them. But the horse is just a 9-year-old, so plenty to like and plenty to learn from. Again, Ashley's such an experienced competitor. Takes a total of 12 with Imagine. She'll go into 26th place as it stands. The time very good. was 72.27, but sadly 3 fences down, so it gives her 12 in total. Still 6 in the jump off. Just to recap those for you, we've got Hunter Holloway, Jacob Pope, Shane Sweetnam, Samantha Schaefer, Samuel Parot, and now Jordan Coyle. Emmanuel Greenberg comes next with Claire de Lune M. This one is owned by Pumpkin Patch Farms. It's an 11-year-old by Coupe de Coeur.
Just began showing this horse in FEI competition earlier this year. Campaigned in Wellington for a bit and coming off a top 10 finish in the Ottawa 2-star Grand Prix. So this partnership really starting to mesh together in the FEI ranks. So certainly coming off that high, hoping to not only replicate but maybe improve upon that finish, which looks like might not happen this week. One rail does come down.
Getting into the jump off in the Ottawa 2-star Grand Prix, but just the 1 fence down. But as you say, 2 down already makes things, makes this course a little bit trickier for them. It's quite a big horse, quite a big striding horse. The ring in Ottawa, of course, considerably larger than this one, and a big grass arena, so quite a different environment. And of course on the Major League Show Jumping Series, it's important for the horses and riders to be adaptable to a range of different environments and different arenas, and this is quite a different proposition, being it's by no means a small arena, but of course we're jumping on a surface, and it is a little smaller than those big sweeping grass arenas that we see in some other places. But 3 fences down then for Emmanuel Greenberg. It's a total of 12. They now also go into 26th place, just starting ahead of Ashley Bond. Anne Bingler will be next in with Cobalto, horse that she owns herself.
Still only the 6 clears, but quite a powerful lineup for that jump off. Could really be anyone's game among those 6 that we have coming forward. And still a few to come that could mix things up, could certainly get themselves a ticket for that jump off. Fortunately, an early rail for Anne and Cobalto. It's a little lost down that line, slides to the right, kind of runs out of space.
Again, runs out of space a bit to the eagle upright as well, a bit too deep there. And quite new to the international competitions.
Gonna circle and regroup just a bit before that triple combination. Again, classes like this just providing that excellent experience. Just not quite liking that shot into the triple.
That's a shame. Just see the Halliday boxer there falling, and as you say, had a couple of tricky lines. Just need to keep the straightness a little bit, and the horse just not loving the look of the first part of the triple combination. So unfortunately, with the 2 refusals, that will be elimination for Anne Bingler. I'm sure they'll be back another day though. Always another day in show jumping to come back and try again in another competition. Georgina Bloomberg will be next in, who of course rides for the USA. Her ride this morning is Manhattan. Georgina, another extremely experienced competitor, right to the top of the sport. Experienced 5-star competitor. She's within the top 300 at the moment in the Longines World Rankings. And Manhattan is a horse that she's had for a little while. It's been ridden by Spencer Smith as well. Spencer took the horse to Aachen, but Georgina competed this horse in a few European competitions as well, including in Stockholm at 5-star level. But she's been jumping at Traverse City earlier in the summer and at Bridgehampton as well.
Well, this horse was not only just a homebred for Georgina, but the product of 2 of her former rides. Father Metropolitan Georgina showed up to the 5-star level, and its mother Lumina in the amateur owner jumper classes. So this horse holding a very special place in her heart, and has brought this horse up, obviously since it was just new to show jumping, all the way up to the 5-star heights. Took a 3rd place finish at the Hampton Classic last year, also 2nd place in Miami. And like you said, passing the reins to Spencer Smith. Georgina had a bit of an injury earlier this season, but has started to build a very strong team of riders around her.
Yeah, Spencer's been quite a good partner for her recently, riding a few of her horses for her, as you say, when she was out of action. But a brilliant performance, 73.17, as you were touching on, I'm sure she'll be absolutely thrilled with the homebred horse coming through with the clear round, 73.17, so that means that Georgina Bloomberg is going to be the 7th rider through to our jump-off. The fastest of those going through to the jump-off is Hunter Holloway, but they're all actually around a similar time. The riders going through to the jump-off, they're all around the sort of 72, 73 second mark, with Hunter Holloway just being a little quicker on 71 seconds. So not much to separate them time-wise in round 1, but I'm sure we'll see some of those really going for the time in the jump-off. We have another rider who rides for the Show Plus Northern Lights team coming through now. This is Darren Lynn with Odile VDM. This is one that he's had since July of this year. This horse was previously ridden by Sergio Alvarez Moya. And this is, he's bringing this horse to this 2-star Grand Prix. Ottawa at the Major League Show Jumping Show was this horse's first 5-star competition.
Darren, a winner last season out at the Desert Horse Park. It's very competitive, both national and international competition out there. Of course, this Major League Show Jumping Tour giving riders the opportunity to jump up to the 5-star level all over North America. Quite a few 5-star classes. We've seen riders debut some of their horses at the 5-star level, and some of the speed winning round classes. Maybe not quite ready to jump a 5-star Grand Prix, but some relatively inviting 5-star classes to get their horses used to that higher level.
That's a shame. Just again, that distance, as we were saying a few times, is quite short down that final line. And he's a little over the time allowed as well, so it's 2 for time to add as well for Darren Lynn. Gives him 6 penalties in total, 76.4 was his time. The 6 is going to put him into 23rd place. We have quite a lot of competitors finishing on 4 now. The fastest of those is still Roberto Turan. Charlize Casas, the 2nd fastest for Falter, then Paul O'Shea. They take the 10th, 11th and 12th spots at the moment, but with 7 clears, the fastest or the best of the rest is Kent Farrington right now. He just has 1 time penalty that holds him in 8th spot. And speaking of Kent Farrington, going from one rider for Team Nagano to another, we have Vanessa Hood. She rides Easy Girl in this 2-star Grand Prix.
On a ride that she acquired from Kent Farrington, her trainer. Rode to 5-star wins with Kent in Wellington. Also the former ride of Santiago Lambre. Just not quite finding the right distance into that Calais Oxer. Circle before coming to 4AB. But also a horse that has won Grand Prix action along the Major League Show Jumping Tour with Santiago. Won a 5-star Grand Prix at Caledon in 2021. So really impressive horse. Has changed hands a few times, but continuing to perform at the top levels.
Yeah, Vanessa's quite solid with this horse at the 2-star level. She jumped in the 2-star Grand Prix at Ottawa for an 11th place finish, getting into the jump-off, but sadly then having 3 down. She won't be in the jump-off today, but again, a lot of encouraging points in this round, and the horse has certainly got the experience.
Exactly. This pair is still getting to know one another. We know that all the pieces are there. The horse is very talented, as is Vanessa, but just a matter of working out some of those kinks.
Absolutely. It's all about the partnership. But Vanessa Hood and Easy Girl, they're going to finish some way over the time allowed as well, as she quite sensibly took a circle before approaching the double at 4. Better to do that than to rush into the combination and give the horse a nice confidence building round. So it's going to be 16 in total for her. She'll go into the 30th slot at the moment. But another combination who I'm sure will be back for another day. Alexis Bodo comes next with Select London Calling. Another 8-year-old horse, and not a pair who have been too experienced at the international level. They've jumped in 2 2-star competitions so far. They were back in June at Tryon.
Actually had a top finish as well in the 2-star 2 phase earlier this week. Found themselves on the top 10 in that final results. So started this week off strong. But again, just getting to know the upper levels of FEI competition. Very quick foot speed on this horse.
Yeah, certainly pretty speedy. Nice to see them doing well this week at the 2-star level. They were fairly successful in a 2-star 2-phase competition at Tryon. Won a clear round in the first phase and then just 1 down in the second phase for a 15th place finish. But that speed just causing a couple of problems down the final line. Good to the last though. Might be just a fraction inside the time allowed, so 74.79, arguably perfectly judged timing wise, but she's just inside the time allowed of 75 seconds. 3 fences down though gives them 12 in total, and so they now slot into 30th place, pushes Vanessa Hood into 31st. But crucially, we've still got 7 through to the jump off, and just 4 riders left to come. Those 7 in the jump-off so far are Hunter Holloway, Jacob Pope, Shane Sweetnam, Samantha Schaefer, Samuel Parot, Jordan Coyle and Georgina Bloomberg. Our representative for Mexico comes next. This is the turn of Alejandro Leonardo Winkler, who rides Costa Quick PS. A horse that he owns himself, another 8-year-old. Good few 8-year-olds in the field here this morning.
Well, 8-year-olds certainly holding their own, already working their way into the top 10 at this point. It's a lot of up-and-coming young talent on display here in this 2-star Grand Prix. Likely horses that we'll be seeing up to the 5-star level in the future. And this, a horse that Alejandro has brought up himself, took young horse wins in Monterey, where Major League Show Jumping will return later this fall.
Yeah, the horse was pretty successful at the young horse competitions. A couple of wins at that level. And then this year so far he's been jumping the horse at Vancouver and Calgary at Spruce Meadows in the 2-star competitions. Had a good top 10 finish in the 2-star jump-off class at Spruce Meadows back in June.
Might just be a little steady on the clock.
Yeah, their first two-star Grand Prix was in Vancouver in June, and they just had one fence down and one for time there. So yeah, I think could be a little bit tight for time here, which would be a shame because it's nice to see them keeping all of the fences up.
Exactly, and some of these horses just need a little bit of extra time.
Yeah.
Could very well be that he wasn't trying to push it too fast, because with just an 8-year-old working on building that experience, coming home with a good experience rather than a top result, but will still find himself up there in the top 10 at this moment, so that is still a good result.
Yeah, absolutely. Takes that 10th spot. 3 penalties in total, 3 to add just for time for Alejandro Leonardo Winkler. Great round, and just took a little bit more time to head round that course to just allow the horse enough time to understand the questions being asked. We go to another extremely talented competitor who's really been a key part of the Spyco Spies team so far this year. This is Lacey Gilbertson. She rides Byzance Male, a horse that she often competes in the 5-star level competitions. In fact, she jumped in the 5-star winning round at Ottawa for a 5th place finish. She also won a 5-star speed class with this horse in Toronto, but brings Byzance Male now to the 2-star Grand Prix.
Lacey has an impressive string of horses all the way up to the 5-star levels, competed Carlin van Vennehoff in 5-star action, as well as put in quite a few clear rounds for those Spyco Spies, several 2nd place finishes that she has had quite a bit to do with all those clear rounds.
Yeah, she's arguably been the most consistent competitor for the Spyco Spies. She's been on the team at every leg so far this year. Byzance Male, certainly a great ride for her. She's been in the top 10 with this horse 4 times just this summer alone.
And still just an amateur rider, which is very impressive, competing up against some of the world's top professionals and really holding her own.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unfortunate that one fence down just takes the Cabana Coast Oxa on her way down the final line. So it's 4 in total, 71.24. Her time goes into 13th place. As we go to our final 2 competitors of this morning, before we then bring you the jump off. We go on now to Alexandra Wells, who rides Dante for the Evergreen Stables. 14-year-old mare by Indoctro, and one that Alexandra's just been riding this summer. She's jumped this horse at Spruce Meadows and at Bridgehampton earlier this month in the 2-star level competitions, but a relatively new partnership, one that was previously with Briley Kerner of the USA, and earlier than that, Kevin Mealiff of Ireland.
Yeah, very impressive horse for Alex, and she took a break from riding, had a baby last October, back in the saddle, barely missed a beat in her time away. Just one time fault in the 2-star Grand Prix at the Hampton Classic, so incredible jumping from this pair. Gonna have to think about the time though in this tight time allowed. Can already see it there. I think she added a few extra strides up to that vertical. Oh, but unfortunately one comes down again at that American Gold Cup Oxer.
Very tricky line there from 6 to 7. The American Gold Cup Oxer being fence 7. It's arguably been the most influential part of the course so far, the final line proving tricky as well. Be interesting to see what course is prepared for the 5-star team competition later on today. She's managing really well down a lot of these distances, so it's unfortunate having that early fence down. The last one goes as well though, and she is, as you were saying, She's going to be quite over the time allowed. It's going to be 13 in total. 79.11 is her time. So 13, the final total for Alexandra Wells. She'll go into 33rd place at the moment. She won't be joining those in the jump off. 13 is her final score. And just one competitor yet to come. And that final rider will be Tanner Korotkin. This morning he rides Ideal. He's been riding Quinn 33 in some of the previous 5-star competitions, one with whom he's had 2 5-star wins already in just the past few weeks. Ideal, a little bit of a little bit of a longer term ride for him than Quinn, but still relatively new, one that he's been riding just this year, that he took on from Shane Sweetnam. In July they were 5th in a 2-star Grand Prix here at Traverse City, and around about a year ago they won a 3-star Grand Prix here as well.
A very competitive pair. We saw him take the win in the individual qualifier at the North American Youth Championships. They then returned to Traverse City for the fall season. Kind of hit supposedly a rough patch, not as many clear rounds as this pair is used to, so I think kind of taking a step back into 2-star action, rebuild that confidence for this horse. But jumping quite well in this 2-star Grand Prix. Feel like they are back on their stride. They are going to have to watch the clock though, which is not something that this rider typically has to worry about. I think they might just be okay. They're going to run very close.
Very close. Oh, and he knew it was close as well. 0.03 of a second inside the time allowed. 74.97. So to round things out in this first round of this 2-star Grand Prix, we close things out with another clear, our 8th clear of the competition so far. Tanner Korotkin joining that clear round list. And what a list we have for you. Going through to the jump off, we have, as I say, 8 competitors, and they are Hunter Holloway, who rides down at Kerglen, Jacob Pope with Highway FBH, Shane Sweetnam with Irandol du Flot, Samantha Schaefer with Fraser, Samuel Parot with Buga Z, Jordan Coyle with Lisa Niska Cool Quality, Georgina Bloomberg rides Manhattan, and now Tanner Korotkin comes through with Ideal. They are your jump off qualifiers. That's the list of 8. Of course, they'll go in the same order in the jump-off as they bid for top honours, the top ranked placings in this 2-star Grand Prix. We'll be taking a short break now while the arena is just prepared for that 2-star Grand Prix jump-off, and we'll be back in just a few moments' time with all of that action live for you.
The American Gold Cup. Over 50 years of history. A trophy that from its early origins in Cleveland has toured the country. From Florida to Pennsylvania, New York, and to a new home in Michigan. The early years dominated by household names, Roger Jenkins and Michael Bass. Big fences, crowds, and big rewards for winning this prestigious title. The 90s saw new faces and new venues, dominated by US Olympic medalist Ann Kaczynski. and the latest additions and more golden Olympic stars. Beezy Mann and Ken Farrington, and the latest running saw the stylish Brianne Gottal lift the trophy for a second time. A golden age of riders lifting the golden trophy.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. Unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse deaths. And I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing, amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
Premier Equestrian, the #1 choice for footing products. Premier Equestrian, footing products that improve performance. Premier Equestrian, footing products for cushion and stability. Call 800-611-6109 or visit premierequestrian.com.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
Our horses are so much more than athletes. They can deliver our dreams with every ride. So we give them the best nutrition, the best health care, and the best equipment. Be sure to give the best transportation too. For 60 years, Brookledge has led the way in on-time delivery, customer focus, state-of-the-art equipment, and the best drivers in the industry. Brookledge, delivering your dreams since 1955.
High gear as we move on to our second round, the tiebreaker among 8 who have qualified for the jump off here today. And the group will start off in just a moment here with Samantha Schaefer, who by the original order of go will be first to return in that jump off. The course will begin over our Platinum Performance vertical, going the opposite direction here in the jump off. That'll be number 14. And then down they will go to the Major League Oxer number 15 toward home. And then 7, 8, 9 AB, just as they were in the first round. So the American Gold Cup Liverpool around to the Ottawa and Chippewa Tribes vertical here with the Bald Eagle Wings. Then they go to 9A and 9B, and that's what remains of what was originally a triple combination, now just the double Oxer vertical. Number 10 will follow, of course, so it'll be a gallop from that vertical on down to the NetJets Oxer before they turn one more time away from home over the Cabana.
Well, good morning, everybody. We're back with the jump-off of this 2-star Grand Prix. We've got a fantastic list of horses and riders to bring you. And we have a twisting, turning jump-off course with a double combination and a couple of new fences in there as well. We have a new fence 14, to kick things off, which is in the middle of the arena. Then we come back to fence 1, which it's fence 1 backwards, so that's fence 15, a new fence. We'll take you around that with our first competitor, which will be Samantha Schaefer and Fraser.
So this first line backwards, looks like riders are going to be a little bit quicker down that line. Might see slightly fewer strides, really tight back on that American Gold Cup Oxer. Nice slice there. Another opportunity to take out a stride. And giving a little more respect to this double combination. Just the A and B element.
Bit of a longer run down to fence 10 now, with fence 9 now being a double rather than a triple combination, and the Cabana Coast Oxer to finish fence 11. Well, one competitor has gone and one competitor has given us our first double clear. The time 36.33. I think we could see a couple of places where the riders might be able to shave off a little bit more time, perhaps in the approach to the double combination, what is now a double.
So the pace has been set. She did exactly what she needed to do there. Looks like she might have moved up in the order. She's very busy here in Traverse City. She has quite a few students that she probably has to go teach. So my guess is she voluntarily went first in that jump off. And now we move on to the rider that we saw jump clear first.
Yes, absolutely. Just a little bit out of order there, Samantha Schaefer, but she sets a time to beat of 36.33. Hunter Holloway brings Dana de Kerglen, our first clear of the day in the first round, and gets a great shot back to the American Gold Cup Oxer. Now quite a gallop to the Eagle upright. Here she goes inside that arena decoration before she heads to this double combination. Dana de Kerglen been a great partner for her, and another one that's great on the clock. This looks instantly a little bit quicker.
Should do one less to the net jets.
Well, one less to the net jets, takes out a few strides in a few different places, but keeps a bit of a faster pace up as well. So takes, but actually it doesn't in the end go faster than Samantha Schaefer. It did just sort of look a bit quicker across the ground, interestingly, but perhaps Samantha just had a little bit of a smoother line, so 36.33 is still the time to beat. Hunter Holloway comes home in 37.19 seconds.
Well, this is certainly a pair to watch. Grand Prix winner just last Sunday. I think the pace is a bit quicker so far. He came in having yet to record a clear round in that jump off, so he had the advantage of knowing a double clear would put him in the lead. He did just enough and ended up not being caught by anyone else. We'll see exactly how fast he takes it here. Still an inexperienced pair together, but already a winning pair together. So could continue on that winning streak.
Yeah, we need a quick pace around these turns. There's a couple of places that they can get a bit of a faster line. They've of course got to be quite careful with these upright fences. Gets a little bit wider after the eagle upright. It's Jacob Pope with Highway FBH, of course.
He's certainly going for it here today. He's been very quick through the first part of this course. If he can leave this up, he is going to be close.
Oh, very close. Slots into second place. It's 36.97. He's 0.6 of a second slower than Samantha Schaefer, who, although didn't look to be hurrying around this course, she certainly had the fast pace with a regular rhythm all the way around, kept things smooth, kept the turns efficient and relatively tight, so 36.33 is still the time to beat. Jacob Pope slots into second, and Hunter Holloway holds that third spot with Dana de Kerglen. 37.19 is her time. So it's really quite tight in terms of the times. Not too much space between them, but a man who's already had a taste of success here this week. Again, a taste of success at 5-star level is Shane Sweetnam. He rides Irandol du Flot, one of his younger up-and-coming rides, 8-year-old mare. And Shane now knows what he needs to do. We're around halfway through this jump-off. The time to beat is 36.33. Good shot to the American Gold Cup Oxer.
A little bit neater in that turn away from the eagle fence. Might have been a fraction of where Jacob added a little bit of time there.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a wider line, didn't he?
Very quick away from the net jets, but I think he's slightly off the time.
Yeah, but just slightly. He will take the second spot. It's 36.77. He is 0.2 exactly of a second faster than Jacob Pope, but Shane Sweetnam still can't quite catch Samantha Schaefer's time. 36.33 is still the time to beat, and Shane comes home in 36.77. He'll take second spot at the moment, and we have 4 competitors still to come in the jump-off. The top 4, as it stands, are Samantha Schaefer, Shane Sweetnam, Jacob Pope, and Hunter Holloway. 4 double clears as well so far. No fences dropped in this jump-off yet.
This has been a very impressive jump-off. No rails yet. And each one's so fast. They're only separated by, I mean, less than a second. It's just been so closely matched there.
Yeah, extremely tight in the time. It's really fractions of a second that we're looking at to make the difference here. There are a number of places where I'm sure they'd love to take a tighter line, but they've just got to be careful that they have enough space for these fences as well, allowing the horses to understand the question being asked.
Well, and especially now knowing that a rail down would put you at the bottom of this jump off.
Yeah,
Making sure to stay
absolutely.
extra careful, but so would a slightly slower time, so might as well go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Might as well go for it. 36.33, still the time to beat. Well, our next competitor is just heading down the hill, just heading into the arena. He's just taking his time to get in, but I'm sure he won't be taking his time around this course. He's a fast competitor and brings a little bit more of an experienced horse in this competition. It is the turn of the Chilean rider Samuel Parot with Buga Z.
This pair can be very fast, but we've seen sometimes he kicks into that speed gear and the rails start to fall. So we'll see exactly how much he steps on the gas pedal and whether this horse can keep all rails up.
Yeah, it's important that with the speed they don't get too flat. It was a little bit of a flat jump at the first. Let's hope that they can not do that around the rest of the course. Good line back to the American Gold Cup boxer.
Adds a stride there compared to the others, but is pretty quick on the backside.
Yeah, and his line is a little bit more efficient as well. A little bit tighter. Interesting, we aren't seeing too many riders gallop between the double and the NetJets Oxer. I mean, it's still very, very close. 37.5 now the time for Samuel Parot. He will actually slot into 5th place, but he slots just behind Hunter Holloway, who came home in 37.19. He really didn't look to be wasting too much time, but I think putting the extra stride in before the eagle upright really cost him a little bit of time. So it's 5th place for now. Another double clear, but 5th for Samuel Parot so far. Next up, it's Jordan Coyle. Lissaniska Cool Quality. This 9-year-old for Elan Farm. Jordan, as we were saying before, can be an extremely fast rider. He's taking a little bit of a, coming off a different line, coming to the first off the left rein. And I'd say he's a bit quicker from the first to the second fences here.
A relatively newer ride for him that isn't deterring him from trying to take the win here.
He's obviously developed a good partnership with this horse. I was going to say he seems to trust the horse at that pace, but unfortunately...
Maybe a little too much trust there in that moment.
But the time is good. Coming around this corner, this is going to surely be one of our fastest times. 35.18. Yeah, it is our fastest time so far. Oh, what a shame. If only that fence had stayed up for Jordan Coyle, he would have taken the lead. As it happens, though.
It's a very fast time.
Yeah, 35.18. It's more than a second quicker than Samantha Schaefer. But unfortunately, all the fences have to stay up as well. So one down for Jordan Coyle is going to see him slot into 6th place at the moment. 35.18. What a time.
So we know it can be done.
It can be done.
Just whether it can be done with all rails still intact. So just one rider left to give her shot. 2 riders left, rather.
Yeah, 2 riders left, Georgina Bloomberg and Tana Korotkin. Some real stars of the American show jumping world. Great to see Georgina Bloomberg in action here at Traverse City. Such an experienced 5-star rider, as most of these are actually. Quite the star-studded lineup in this 2-star Grand Prix. Georgina Bloomberg rides Manhattan, this homebred horse. Looks like she might be going for the double clear. Or a little bit quicker away from fence 2, though.
Knows this horse so well, so has that advantage. Going up against some newer partnerships.
Yeah, and a rattle at 9A, but keeps it up. That was quick down the line, actually,
Very
from
quick.
9 to 10. But now she's taking a little bit of a hold. Oof.
Just doesn't quite meet that last jump the way she ideally would have liked to. But it's still a clear, a double clear.
Yeah, lovely double clear. The time, though, is 38.53. And so despite the fact that she kept all the rails up, Georgina Bloomberg will go into 6th place. She'll slot Jordan Coyle into 7th. She's just over 2 seconds slower than Samantha Schaefer, who of course was our first rider to come forward in this jump off, and she still holds the top spot. 36:33 is still the time to beat. The time set by our first combination. Well, we just have one competitor left to go, one competitor who could potentially knock Samantha Schaefer off the top spot, and certainly he's not a rider that you would want to bet against. It's the turn of Tanner Korotkin and Ideal. Relatively new partnership, but one he certainly gelled with very quickly, as he has with his other ride, Quinn. Gets a good line back there, good turn back.
Such a naturally quick horse. I think even without taking the most dramatic lines, this horse could easily take over the top spot just by its natural foot speed. Another partnership that is a little more solidified. I think it's a little disorganized over that last one.
Oh, I was going to say it's going to be very
so
close indeed, but Tanner Korotkin now takes third spot. 36.92 is his time. Coming round that corner, I think he just took a little bit of a pull coming to the Cabana Coast Oxer, which cost him those fractions of a second, and it really is about fractions of a second. But what a great performance. 7 double clears in this competition. 8 through to the jump off. Jordan Coyle just clipping the one pole to take the 8th spot. But it's going to be a win for Samantha Schaefer and Fraser, our first competitor out in the jump off, and she held the lead throughout.
It was very impressive, and I would venture to guess she probably doesn't even know she won, because moving up in the order, she probably had to run off and teach some students and might just be getting word now that she held the lead through the entire jump off. So some great news coming her way, and adding to an already a win in Hunter action. So a big week for Samantha Schaefer.
Great week already for her. Great start to this Saturday morning. Well, there's your leaderboard. It's Samantha Schaefer to take the top spot. Shane Sweetnam takes second with Irandol Duflot. Tanner Korotkin, Shane Sweetnam's teammate on the Spy Coast Spies roster, takes the third spot with Ideal. Jacob Pope takes fourth with Highway FBH, and Hunter Holloway rounds out the top 5. Dana Dicker, Glenn, her ride. They are your top 5. Well, the arena will be prepared for the jump off prize giving. The prize giving ceremony, of course, following, as I say, the jump off for this 2-star Cabana Coast Grand Prix.
The Gotham Enterprises entry will be 7th. Jordan Coyle, Ireland, and this is the cool quality will be 8th to round out the jump off qualified. Donna in 9th place based on just 1 commence second over the time allowed there. They had a single fall 9th place. Kyle King, 2 commence seconds over with Anzo, ranks 10th. And then in the 11th and 12th positions, also a time fault entry with Alejandro Leonardo Winkler aboard Costa Quick PS, and the fastest 4-faulter Roberto Turan and BP Wakita to round it out. Those are the top 12, again with the best 3 finishers about to make their way in for the podium presentations. First, second, and third place finishers making their way into the arena now. They'll be mounted as they enter. And of course, the top finish goes to Samantha Schaefer and Fraser, who is now adorned with the American Gold Cup cooler. One of the coveted prizes, along with the ribbons and prize money that go out. Of course, remember, this is also a class eligible for points in that Captive One Open Jumper Rider bonus race, which is in the home stretch now with just 1 day remaining before that $30,000 prize is paid out. As you can see, dismounting and making their way up to the podium for our presentation in reverse order of the awards. Again, thanks to Cabana Coast for their sponsorship of our Saturday morning 2-star Grand Prix. And approaching the 3rd place position on that podium will be Tanner Karotkin with Ideal. And he'll step up for that yellow ribbon honor. Lauren White, our Director of Marketing here at the Traverse City Series in the American Gold Cup, is honoring those winners, again with Tanner Karotkin in 3rd. Stepping across to the 2nd highest podium position, it'll be a runner-up placing today for Shane Sweetnam here in the 2-star Grand Prix aboard Irondale du Flot. 36.77 is what nets him the runner-up ranking. And from that rider out of Ireland to the U.S. rider who tops the podium positions, it's Samantha Schaefer up with Frazier in the winning time of 36.33. Of course, it is our custom here in these feature international events to pay tribute to the winning nation. So they'll be turning back to the board now, and we'll display the stars and stripes of the United States of America. Our winning rider, again, Samantha Schaefer, as we ask all of you to please rise and remove cover. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we continue on to the victory pass, we do have a champagne toast here with these riders who, as we heard before the champagne toast, we're going to try to do so in a more subtle manner this morning since it is so early in the day, and of course all of them still have riding duties to attend to, but looks like they're going to throw caution to the wind and do it in our traditional style here. Saluting again Samantha Schaefer and Frazier on the win, Shane Sweetnam and Irondale du Flot on the runner-up placing, and again Tanner Karotkin and Ideal on that 3rd place finish, and hopefully they've got some backup jackets for the later performances here today. But they do have one more order of business before we wrap up our 2-star Grand Prix awards, and that'll be the victory pass as they'll make their way back to those mounts to mount up and ride. You can understand that those Grand Prix victories, of course, don't happen every single time out, so you'd want to take full advantage of the opportunity to get that full experience. Thus, the true champagne toast on the podium performance there. And again, it is a top call to Samantha Schaefer, wiping away the champagne she just experienced there, but touring the ring with Frazier and taking the win aboard that Bonvie LLC wire-to-wire style. First in the jump off, posting 36.33 and going uncatchable from that point forward. Shane Sweetnam and Irondale du Flot once again for Sweet Oak Farm will be 2nd, and Tanner Karotkin and Ideal the last to compete in the jump off for Castlewood Farm, rounding out those top 3. So there you have it, the awards complete for our two-star Grand Prix. We have several national classes coming up, namely the medium junior amateurs next in their classic, and then the meter 40 $10,000 class to follow that before we get into the individual rounds for our Major League show jumping tour. And of course the team event coming up as we approach the evening here today. Give our crew time to adjust. We have a new